MotoGP in 2022 and last year, and second in the World Championship, the reigning World Champion, the Ducati Lenovo team rider Pecco Bagnaia. Pecco second in the World Championship, winner of the Sprint and the Grand Prix in Japan a couple of weeks ago. Fourth time this year, he's done the victory double, 8 wins now this season, a personal best for Pecco, and second in that classic race here in Phillip Island last year. Welcome, gentlemen, to both of you. First of all, we'll start with a question for both of you. 4 rounds remaining, 10 points in it. A bit of a journey into the unknown this weekend, guys, with the new surface, lots of unpredictable weather around as well. Is this potentially the most challenging weekend of the last 4 to come? And how are you feeling about this weekend ahead? Jorge, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for sure. As you said, it will be a really challenging weekend, not only because it's the last part of the season, so we are almost on the 4 finals, let's say. But, you know, the weather is so different here every day. Also, we have new surface, so different tires also comparing to last season. So it will be really difficult and really demanding in terms of analyzing the data and trying to understand really fast what we need for racing on Sunday, because we'll be, after what we saw last year, for sure will be the key to win on Sunday.
And Pecco, your thoughts? A potentially stressful weekend coming up. They all feel stressed at this stage of the season, but this one, a big challenge coming up.
Yeah, we were speaking about it before, and I think the most challenging thing would be to understand the tires, because we don't have time, we don't have sessions. Looks that we will not have sessions on dry to understand which tire will be good for the race, because the soft one is the medium from last year, and already last year without new asphalt was a bit on the limit. So we will have to understand it. We have 2 different tires with the casing of Indonesia. So we have to understand it. We have to try it. So let's see. And also the condition, because tomorrow looks rainy. Saturday looks windy. Sunday looks okay but cold. So we will have to understand it. And like always, Phillip Island is always complicated to understand, but luckily the asphalt looks great, and maybe we can have some feeling back, a better feeling compared what we started last year.
Looking at the championship, 10 points, Jorge, is the gap. Pecco's closed 14 points on the last 2 races. How are you feeling about that gap reducing? And is this triple header now the most important part of the season?
Yeah, for sure will be. I mean, it's the most important part because it's the one remaining. So yeah. There are some points, some parts of the season where Pecco was close, where Pecco was in front, or I was in the back, whatever you want. So, yeah, the important thing for me is to arrive in Valencia with options. So I will try to do my best to get to that point. Still 3 races where we can make a lot of mistakes. For sure now mistakes are much more heavier, let's say. More important. If you make a mistake, will be a disaster. So we need to be really focused and try to be always competitive.
And Pecco, you are clawing those points back. 10 is the gap now coming here to Australia. Do you feel you've got a great chance of maybe leading the World Championship at the end of this weekend, or is it just important to keep closing that gap?
What we feel and what we understood is that it's not mandatory to be leading the championship right now. And if it will happen, but in case of just gaining some points or losing some points will not be a problem, because we already know and understood that this will be finished in Valencia. Will be very complicated to finish it before, and we will try to do the maximum. If the maximum will be to finish second, we will try to finish second. But we know that the potential is to win. So we will try everything to win and try to gain some little points like we did maybe in Indonesia, and try to continue like this also in Thailand.
And looking at the stats, I was surprised to see that both of you haven't actually won here before in Phillip Island. It's a classic track, an iconic track. How special would it be to tick off a victory here in Australia? Jorge, we'll start with you.
Yeah, for sure, it's a super nice track. It's one of the, I think, the most beautiful to ride on. But yeah, at this point, for sure, I would love to win. But now, you know, the important thing is the championship. I will think more maybe about that. But for sure, if I have the opportunity, I will take it 100%. So yeah, will be super nice to win also here.
Pecco?
Yeah, me too. I had a chance in Moto3 the first time, but I had some complicated races by the battles we were having. In Moto2 was a disaster for me here in both years. And in MotoGP, I was close in 2022 and 2023, but you never know. We will try again this season, but we have to be thinking on the championship and try to doing the maximum without taking too much risk. And here in Phillip Island, then take the risk is a huge thing.
I think your last three results here, Paco, have been fourth, third, second. So
Yeah.
hopefully the sequence will continue here this weekend. Guys, in the last couple of races in Mandalika and in Japan, we saw Pedro Acosta looking very, very strong. Is he somebody you're going to have to watch over these next four races? Somebody who might be able to take some points away from you guys, because he's been very close to the Ducatis in the last two Grand Prix, Jorge?
Yeah, I think Pedro is super strong. I think he had already the potential to win in Japan, but he crashed. But also, I think he won so bad his first victory in MotoGP during this season. So for sure he will be super strong. But we have also Mark, we have also Enea, that they will be super strong, and they will try to. They have their own battle also, so they will try to win.
Yeah, I think in Indonesia. Nobody were expecting his performance, but then happened what happened with the tire pressure. So I will think about just Motegi, and it's true that he was fast. It was very competitive all the weekend from the start of the weekend. I was expecting to see him competitive because KTM was always fast in Japan, and he is a rider that brake very hard. So I was expecting to see him that close and was fighting for his first victory. So we already know the potential of Pedro. Was super good at the start, then he lost a bit his confidence, but looks that he's back. And this track is good for everybody. The bike here makes less difference compared to other tracks because it's very fast and it's more difficult to make the difference. So I think will be difficult to see someone going opening a gap.
And now we have a special guest question for both of you. He said he wanted to spice things up a little bit. So here is a question for both of you from our special guest.
We need your help as well, Pedro, if that's okay. The last couple of rounds, you're telling us that there needs to be a bit more spice in the press conference with Jorge and Pecco. So do you have any questions that we can put to either Jorge and Pecco to make things a bit more interesting?
You give me time to think about it. I need time to think about it. Need to be something very clear. Will the manufacturer influence inside the championship battle?
Okay, well,
I understood.
It's a good question. We'll put that to them later on. Thanks, Pedro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The question was...
I hope.
the question was, I think it's like, do you guys expect team orders, or do you expect Ducati to try and have some influence in the championship?
I mean, I think I don't understand why they do this question. I mean, if they do this question, it's because they think about it. But I don't know. For me, I cannot control that, so I won't focus on that. I will focus on riding, and I hope for sure not. I hope not. But I will focus on what I can control, that is riding at my 100% and try to be fast.
I think if they wanted to help me in some way, already in Misano, I could have something better than what is already our package, because we tried a new chassis, and the chassis is not ready for everybody. So we are not using it, and also because it's more correct that is like this. I think Gigi was always clear on that. As soon as I started riding with a Ducati, and more in the last 2 seasons, the factory teams have the same package, nothing more, nothing less. Or if you have something new, everybody has something new. So I think it's a different strategy compared to others, but it's the strategy that put Ducati in that way. Now the Ducati is so performant so competitive for that reasons, for that strategy. So I don't think, and I don't believe that will change something till Valencia.
Still to come, guys. We have MotoGP Social, but for the time being, we'll invite questions from the media. Thank you very much.
Hey, Borja González Dazón, a question for both of you. Aleix Espargaro, is more than a question, is your opinion, because Aleix Espargaro told us the other day that he thinks that, or he feels that people is not giving you the credit you deserve, both with the level you are showing this year, the fast you are riding, the fast the races are, and how you are putting the level till the limit. I don't know, what do you think about this, and if you feel the same than Aleix? Thank you.
I don't know. I mean, I would like to go back and race in 2014 and 15 to see my level, my real level. Let's say, no, I think we are in a great shape. Firstly, I really don't think a lot about what people say because, as I said before, I cannot control, so they can say what they want. And yeah, secondly, I think we are riding in an amazing level with the so equal bikes we have to make this difference comparing to the rest. I think it's crazy. The other day we were not only us but also Mark and Enea. We were like 14 seconds in front of the fifth one. So
17.
or 17. It's crazy. So for sure this is crazy. And yeah, I think we are in a really good level. I think all sports in overall the world, they are always increasing the records on the lap times, and it's because everything improves. So we are better athletes also, and we are, I think, better than the past.
I think more or less the same. I don't care about what people think because I know what we are doing, and we are doing something much better than the rest. And I think already that is something huge. But we have to consider that people are always engaged with the past, and to beat the past is not easy. When you're thinking about, for example, I see Troy, and if I think about Superbike. When you think about Superbike, you still think that battle between like in the past are not anymore like the same. So I think this is the same right now because now to make the difference is much more difficult. In the past, we had Casey sliding a lot. We had Valentino braking super hard and making slides in the entrance. Right now, everybody are doing the same. Everybody are doing the same thing, exiting in the best way possible, braking harder as possible, but it's more difficult to see differences because everybody is doing the same differences that was in the past. So I think that then in the past. So I think it's more difficult to understand what we are doing. I think what we did in Japan was something out of this world, considering the pace we maintained for all the race. And it is for that I don't understand and I don't care about what people are saying because sometimes it's like speaking with a wall. So it's useless.
Thank you. Mela Chércoles, Diario AS and Cadena Ser, a question for Pecco. Two questions, really. The first one is, how is your jet lag this year? Is better than other years? And the second question is, how do you see the battle for the third position between Bastianini and Marquez? If they can help you in any moment or can be dangerous? Thank you very much.
The jet lag was, you asked me jet lag, no? Was like always, you never control the jet lag. I tried to manage with a very precise strategy the flight, but I just decided, okay, I will not sleep because I will arrive at 11 p.m., so I will have to sleep when I arrive. But then I completely died in the last 4 hours of the flight, so I arrived and I didn't sleep all the night. So, but tonight was much better, and I don't feel too much tired right now. So I think it's okay. And about the battle between Enea and Mark, I don't know. I don't know why you are saying that could be dangerous, because I think will be a fair battle, like always, like we saw in Japan. I think the battle between Enea and the Mark are quite spicy every time. If we see in Mugello, we see it in Assen, last time in Japan. So I think will be a great battle, and I think will be they are strong enough to fight with us also here, also Thailand, Malaysia, because the potential of them is very similar and close to our one. So I think their battle will be matched to our battle.
Neil Morrison, I have a question for Pecco over here. Pecco, it's the second consecutive year that you've been fighting with Jorge for the championship. I'd like to know if you think that he has changed this year as a competitor. Has he matured and improved? And if so, how?
I think the biggest difference compared last season is that he started much better the season. And in terms of points, he were always at the top. He led more or less all the championship, apart in Qatar that I was leading because I won. Then in Sachsenring, and I don't remember where that I was, and Aragon, that I was by few points in the front. He was quite constant, much than me. We had some unlucky in some situation for contacts or issue with the bike. But what I think is he have improved is consapevolezza, I don't know to say. He knows that he can win. He knows that he can be competitive. So this makes a huge difference. It's the biggest difference. I feel it when I won the first race in MotoGP, and the first time I won I fought for a championship in 2021. So this makes a huge change. But in terms of in the mental side, I think you will not understand it till you are not arriving in the very last part of the championship, because I was thinking that I was more prepared last year compared the year before, that I didn't sleep. I was more nervous. I was thinking that I was controlling well last year, but then when I arrived in Valencia, I was feeling a bit better because I was still having 21 points, but the mental side was more or less the same, because you feel the pressure. It's normal, and you have to fight also against the pressure.
A question to you both, more about the riding on the bikes and how difficult they are these days. We were downstairs talking to a few of the guys, and they were telling us how many times a lap you've got to press different buttons. 4, 5, 6 times a lap. Every corner, going into a corner, coming out of a corner. How do you remember? Is it robotic, or have you got to really take your mind off what's in front of you to think what's going on?
So first, the guys that you talked before were lying to you, because it's not 5 or 6 buttons the lap. For sure, we have a lot of things. We have now we have the rear brake also on the thumb or on the fingers. So this is a big difference. We have the devices that we have to put switch on and switch off in some parts of the track. And for sure, there are some maps that we change during the race more than during the lap. But for sure, it's challenging. I think it's more. We have to think a bit more than the past. In the past was just riding, Troy, and just trying to go flat out all the race. But now it's much more managing the tire and trying to understand how is the track to change the maps. So, it's different. It's not, better or worse. It's just different, and you have to analyze a bit more maybe before the race.
Yeah, I think there are two kinds of things to do on the bikes. One thing is using the device. That is something you're getting used. So it's like braking, it's like accelerating. It's the same thing, because you already know, your body is already used to entering a corner, engage it, and then activate it, and then remove it. And during the race, changing maps. There are races where you are not changing anything because you feel good, but other races like Austria, like Barcelona or Japan, that you have to change more things, because you have also to control the carburation of the bike, so the fuel maps. So it's more difficult. You have to control more things, and sometimes can distract you. But in my case, I just try to do it when I know that I have just to do that thing, to change that map, and I try to do it in the smoothest way possible. But I think that also distract a bit is the message on the bike, because sometimes it's something that distracts you, and when you touch the greens on the race, the way they put track limits is not the best one, because it's not on the straight sometimes. So you start to brake, and a yellow light start to happen on the bike, and it's quite distracting because maybe you had to draw one position, maybe you had to do different things.
And all this happening at 300 kilometers an hour as well. It shows why you guys are the very best in the world. I think the media are happy. So time now for MotoGP Social, gentlemen. This is a memory test. Last year's MotoGP race here in Phillip Island was a pretty incredible race, just over 1 second covering the top 5. But do you remember who finished inside the top 10 last year, guys?
I don't remember. I never looked that race again. Pecco, Fabian Antonio, Brad Binder.
Because the gap between us and the guys behind were huge.
Yeah, I think there was just over a second covered the top 5. And then there was a gap, maybe 7 seconds back to 6th place. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 8 seconds.
I don't know.
But yeah, you 5 had a big advantage at the front.
Di ya no sé qué número porta. Maybe Maverick. I don't know. Let's take a commandant. Okay.
Let us know when you've both got. Well, Jorge's got his 10. We'll just wait. We'll wait for Pecco to finish off his top 10. We'll let Jorge. Are you ready, Pecco? Almost.
But no.
No,
What
not yet.
number Marco brings? 70. Bezzecchi, which number is?
72.
Sorry.
He copied me, eh?
No.
We'll just let Pecco finish off his top 10, then Jorge can read his out very, very shortly. Of course, your own name's already on the board. Pecco was
He's doing a disaster. Like when you don't know the exam.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's start off with your winners, which should be very, very easy, gentlemen.
Zarco.
Of course, yeah, we had the backflip was back here last year. Johan Zarco was the winner, so give yourself a tick so we know you've got those correct.
I got Pecco good also.
Yeah. Pecco was a very easy one. Who came third in that Grand Prix last year?
No.
It was, of course, Fabio Di Gianantonio, his first MotoGP podium. Binder was 4th. Jorge was 5th.
I did a mistake with Jack.
6th place was Marco Bezzecchi. Did anybody get bets for 6th? Pecco did. Miller was 7th. Jack Miller in front of his home crowd was 7th. Aleix Espargaro was 8th.
I got Aleix.
Alex Marquez was 9th. And Enea Bastianini was 10th. So who got the most?
So
he got one more than me.
How many did you get right, Pecco? 1, 2, 3.
I got 7.
7 out of 10. 6 out of 10.
He's a good voter at school, eh?
You're obviously paying attention to